Thank you, Gig. That's so sweet. Very excited.
Terrific, terrific. So tell us what initially attracted you to a project like Offseason?
I would say the first thing was reading the script that Mickey sent. I just got such a strong sense of place and mythology that he had created, this world that he was going to be building. And I had known Mickey's work and been a fan of his movies and the actors that he puts together, his sense of cinema, his sense of style. So sitting down with him and hearing about how he was going to make this and what he wanted to do, I knew that I wanted to sign on right away.
Now, you are very familiar with the horror genre and you keep on coming back to this genre. Why do you love it so much?
Yeah, I've gotten to have so many cool experiences in this genre. And I think what's so interesting about horror is that with all the subgenres, with all the subject matter, it really kind of encompasses all genres. You have the dramatic emotional beats. You have the sometimes there can be lightness or comedy, but it's always high stakes. You always get to play like life or death or existential or big things, and so it can go from the internal to like very big thematic ideas. So that's something that I love about horror because within horror you can do so many different types of storytelling.
By revisiting this genre over and over again, does it seem to get easier for you?
Hmm. I mean, well, whatever job you're doing, even not acting, you try to learn from and grow from each experience. So just as I've been doing it longer and longer, I try to know what works for me. I try to choose things that will be fulfilling or artistically interesting. And I guess now I do know how to access like certain ways to get scared or freaked out, or just know how to do it quicker with less pain, Because in the beginning, I think I probably really put myself through the ringer to like get to those places, but now maybe I can access those places quicker.
Most excellent. So, so tell us, was this all filmed on an island, or just basically a backdrop somewhere else in New England?
It wasn't technically an island, but it was all shot on location in this little town called New Smyrna Beach, Florida, which is
Of
about an
course.
hour south of Daytona. And just had such a cool vibe, like didn't need any set deck for that main street that was built in the 1940s and just had so much character. So we shot in the town there, and then we shot a lot on the National Seashore, the Apollo National Seashore, which is near Cape Canaveral, and which was just so lush and tropical and had that Southern Gothic vibe of like the palm trees and the jungle, like right on the beach. So you really can't recreate that. And then the bridge as well. That was, a functioning bridge that we got to shoot on for a few days. So that really just was like such a huge set piece and so dramatic. And we were lucky to be able to do all of that, practically in Florida.
That's amazing because I was like watching it and I was trying to figure out like, going, is this on location or is this a set? I think it was maybe the cinematography that was very deceptive in its own way.
Yeah, our DP, Mac Fiskin, he's so talented. And I think what's so interesting about the cinematography, like you say, it's the geometry of the place, like, is confusing. And that's like, there's this nightmare logic throughout the film where, suddenly there's a dead end where there wasn't one before, or she ends up in a room that shouldn't be there. And all of it's just confusing and disorienting and lends to the sense of unease. And, I think that's something that Mac and Mickey talked a lot about, planned. They storyboarded everything ahead of time. And as an audience member, you're really learning these things as Marie is. So you're kind of exploring this weird, creepy, isolated town with her.
So how did they pull off this isolated town? I mean, there was like literally no one there.
Yeah, it's funny because there were lots of people there. We shot in January, and we thought it would be pretty quiet, but it's also like when all the snowbirds come to town. So there were plenty of people there right outside of the frame. And, on the days that we did get to the permits to shut down the main street, where Marie is running through the deserted town. There were just, dozens and dozens of people on either side. And then when we shot in the bar at the Sandlot, there were also like just tons of people there that had been drinking all day just outside of the frame as well. So there's some movie magic and acting happening in those scenes.
Now, of course, there is a great scene of you wandering through a house, and it's just one of those things that's kind of funny because it's, being in the horror genre, you yourself seem to always wander through creepy homes over and over again.
Yeah.
What makes this one probably creepier than a lot of those places?
Yeah, I mean, each one is like you say, like the location really matters, and somehow, these horror directors, they know how to find these real, whether it's a decrepit Victorian or, in this case, like the fisherman's house or the museum that we shot in was the actual like historical museum at New Smyrna, which had so much character. They didn't have to do anything to it, so walking through and seeing these statues or the history or the fossils or the posters, like it was just kind of real for me to be able to just like walk through and be weirded out by things. So I don't know why people hire me to do that, but I'll take it.
It basically means you're good at what you do. So that's a terrific compliment there.
Thank you.
So tell us about working alongside Joe Swanberg. I've known him more on his directing side, of those people of the, I want to say the VHS, horror genre world. But tell us about that acting alongside with him in the film.
Yeah, Joe, he's such a great scene partner. And like you say, he's a director, on this film, certainly he was really just serving Mickey's vision, but also the skills that he brings as a director. You can just tell that, like, he's got great instincts, knows how to solve problems, knows how to get the shot or get the emotional beats, had great ideas for our characters. And he's someone who I've wanted to work with like forever. He's a friend of Ty West, and we've known each other for a long time. But this was our first chance to work together. And like I was saying about how Marie gets to kind of bounce off all these different characters, I think like what Joe and I had really kind of grounded things in reality, because then, everything gets really surreal and weird and creepy with all the supernatural and the townspeople. So just to have Joe, who's so great at the really natural style acting, that was fun to get to do that with him.
You're going to try to, transfer that energy and possibly get into one of his films when he directs it?
I would love to. Yeah, I would love to work with him on one of his movies.
Now, I just want to touch that. What was it? House of the Devil from Ty West was one of your earliest films. What makes that film so special to you? Because it's such, I want to say it's such like a cult favorite for a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm just so grateful for what that movie means to, the fans. And to me personally, it's like you say, it was my first lead role. It was my first chance it was really an education and, making an independent movie. And to me, it's such a source of joy, and it has led to so many other things and really led to my appreciation of the horror genre. And I learned so much, watching Ty's references, and in each movie you do, you add more and more to your frame of reference. But I just think back so fondly on making that movie. We also shot it in Connecticut, where I grew up. So got to like see my family on the weekends and stuff. And I just love every frame of that movie. It just looks like a painting. I just think it's so gorgeous what they did with the cinematography. Offseason shares some of that too. Like, it's just so visually striking. But also, as someone who grew up in the 80s, like, I share that nostalgia. It's really a love letter to, those types of movies. And yeah, so to get to recreate one of them was so special.
I know, without looking it up, I actually thought that was shot in the
80s. Yeah, so authentic. Our art department, our wardrobe on that, like everything just was to a T,
Most excellent. Well, let me ask one last question, Jocelin. The bridge operation, I thought it would just be simple, just to press the button. Was it really that hard?
We had the operator was there. I mean, I wasn't actually allowed to like touch any of the real buttons. But yeah, there is a process. You know, it's not just open close. Like you do have to like, you know, manually allow different levers to change. That it was very cool to like, you know, learn about it. And then yeah, the hand moving it, that's all in post because you're I wasn't allowed to operate an actual bridge.
We have to all learn about something new all the time,
Exactly.
and I appreciate you carrying this conversation for us about off season, and I just want to remark, I have never seen you run so much and have so much wind in your hair throughout this entire film.
So much running, but I was the captain of my cross country team in high school, so it paid off.
Well, there we go. Thank you very much, Jocelyn. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Gig.